The campfire crackled under the wide Texas sky as I leaned back in my chair, watching the stars scatter across the water of my lake. My son roasted marshmallows, laughing as the flames flickered. It was peace, the kind of peace you can't buy, the kind of peace that comes from land passed down through generations. This lake was my father's, and his father's before him. And tonight, it was ours again. But peace doesn't last long when an HOA decides they own the world. The crunch of tires broke the silence. Headlights swept across the trees. Then came the voice, sharp, arrogant, grating. "You there, pack it up right now. This is private property." I stood slowly, my shadow stretching long in the firelight. At the edge of the lake stood Karen, clipboard in hand. 3 HOA board members fanned out behind her like bodyguards. She jabbed her finger at me. "You can't camp here. This lake belongs to the HOA. You're trespassing." My son froze, confused. His marshmallow fell into the fire. I clenched my fists, forcing myself to stay calm. "Karen," I said, my voice steady. "This is my ranch, my lake, my land. You don't belong here." She laughed. That cold, mocking laugh only HOA presidents seem too perfect. "Oh really? Then explain why we've had community picnics here for years, why we maintain the docks, why the residents pay fees to use our lake." I stepped closer, the firelight catching her smug grin. "Because you've been trespassing. Every dock, every picnic, every so-called fit's been theft, and tonight, you've pushed too far." Her eyes narrowed. She whipped out her phone and dialed 911, loud enough for me to hear. She sneered into the receiver. "Yes, officer. There's an armed trespasser camping illegally on HOA property. Bring backup." I almost laughed. She had no idea the hole she'd just dug. Within 15 minutes, red and blue lights lit up the night. 2 squad cars rolled down the gravel path, dust kicking up behind them. Karen ran forward, fake tears streaming. "Thank goodness you're here. That man is squatting on HOA land with a fire and a weapon. Arrest him before he hurts someone." The officers turned to me. Calm, professional. "Sir, we need to see some ID." Karen interrupted before they could finish. "Don't listen to him. He's lying. I'm the HOA president. This lake is under our control." But I was ready. Slowly, deliberately, I pulled a thick leather folder from my truck and handed it to the officer. Inside, the original deed, land surveys, state-registered ownership documents signed, sealed, and spanning back 100 years. My name was clear as day. The officer flipped through the pages, nodding. Then he looked at Karen, his expression flat. "Ma'am, this land doesn't belong to the HOA. It belongs to him." The color drained from her face. "No, that's impossible. We've been using this lake for years. We have rights. We've built docks, held barbecues." The officer cut her off. "That's called trespassing. And based on this documentation, you've been doing it for years. Illegally." The board members behind Karen started shifting uncomfortably. Phones came out, neighbors recording every second. Karen's composure cracked. She shrieked, pointing at me. "No, he forged it. This is all fake. Arrest him." The officer's tone hardened. "Enough. He's the legal owner. You and your HOA have been collecting money, hosting events, and claiming control over property that was never yours. That's fraud, ma'am." The crowd gasped. Karen stumbled back, suddenly looking smaller, her clipboard trembling in her hands. "Why, you can't prove anything." That's when I reached into my pocket again, pulling out a flash drive. I plugged it into the officer's laptop right there on his hood. The screen lit up with drone footage videos I'd taken over the past year. Dozens of HOA gatherings on my land. Karen giving speeches, charging families to use her lake, even threatening people who didn't pay. The evidence was undeniable. The officer turned back to her, his voice cold now. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for fraud, trespassing, and illegal use of private property." Karen's shriek tore across the night as the cuffs snapped around her wrists. "No, you can't do this to me. I'm the HOA president. I own this neighborhood." I stepped forward, towering over her as she struggled. My voice was low, steady, cutting through her panic. "You don't own a thing, Karen. Not this lake, not this land. And after tonight, not even your precious HOA." The neighbors erupted into cheers. Some laughed, some clapped, some shouted. Finally, after years of enduring her tyranny, phones lit up the dark like fireworks, capturing every second of her downfall. The officers loaded her into the squad car, her screams muffled behind the glass. The other board members melted away, shame on their faces, their empire crumbling in front of them. I turned back to my son, who was still by the fire, eyes wide, the flames dancing across his face. I walked over, crouched beside him, and handed him another marshmallow. "Go ahead, son, roast it. This lake is ours, and no one will ever take it from us again," because Karen thought she had power. She thought her clipboard, her fake rules, her false authority could erase history. But she forgot one thing. You can't trespass against blood, legacy, and truth. And when the firelight flickered on the calm water of my lake, one truth stood taller than her. Lies, this land was mine. It always had been, and no HOA in the world could change that.